Hey, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy from Perma Pastures Farm, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. Got a lot of passions, but that's one of them. Probably the biggest. Anyway, the number one question that I'm being asked by people, and it's not through, you're not going to see their questions here in this, here on YouTube. You're going to find their questions in the form of a text message on my phone or in a phone call. In fact, some of these very same people who criticized me and laughed at me probably a decade ago about my feeling and need for preparedness are now coming to me with their hats in their hands, and you folks know who you are, wondering how to prepare. And look, you don't have to be Nostradamus, Edgar Casey, or even the prophet Daniel to recognize that we are on very shaky footing here in our United States of amnesia, right? I mean, you look at the price of gold. I can go through all the metrics and all the things that should make you question what you're being told by the mainstream prostitutes concerning our status quo. Everything's hunky-dory for the most part. But anyway, I want to address today the people who, and there are a wide variety of them. Some of them live in apartments. Some of them have very humble means. Some of them live in a neighborhood lot. It's wide and varied, the number of people that have asked me about this, but it's just astonishing how many of them are doing this all within this narrow period over the last couple of months. And so I've said, instead of addressing each person individually, it just seems to me that almost certainly there are a number of other people out there that have the same questions. So today we're going to do something special. Let's just imagine that you have $100 and that's all you have to prepare with right now. So I'm going to show you in terms of food what you can put away, the most basic things and why, what you can do with $100 and how far you can stretch it. Now, this is going to seem like common sense to a number of the homesteaders out there, I know, because I guarantee you I can think of at least five other homesteaders at least that subscribe to this channel that have already covered this in their own sort of way. Now, I haven't communicated with these people, but I would almost guarantee that many of them are doing the very same things I'm going to show you today. So it may be common sense to you folks, but it is for the folks that just get their paycheck and go to the store and feel like that's the only means in which you have to feed yourself. Today might be an eye-opening experience when you realize how much you can put back with $100. So with that said, I won't belabor the point. Let me jump out of this chair and put foot to butt out there in that garage and show you how it's done. All right, so this is where we get down to brass tacks. What you see here is about actually about $109 worth of stuff. Now let's talk about what that stuff is. Now, these are 500cc oxygen absorbers. And you can get these at a great discount. I think it was $23. Now, I'm not going to go through and tell you what everything costs. It would just take too much time. But, okay, so what do we get here? We got 5 bags of black beans. We got 2 bags of long grain rice. Now, you can get this stuff at Costco or Sam's or wherever you want to get this stuff. We also got 4 buckets. Now, keep in mind, I didn't buy this stuff at the ideal way of buying it. You would have done better to go to a co-op or at least buy this stuff instead of, I'll give you an example here as far as bang for your buck. Each one of these bags here of rice, of 25-pound bags, let's call it about $8-9. Well, this 12-pound bag is exactly the same price. So there's things to consider there. Now consider also the beans in terms of one of these bags is about, for the same money, is about a little more than maybe 12,000 calories. Whereas this bag for the same price is over 40,000 calories. So clearly rice, you get a little bit more bang for the buck. These Mylar bags you can get on Amazon. Look, I can't go through all the prices right now, but basically there's 10 in this bag. The whole kit and caboodle you see here is right at $109. So this is what those Mylar bags are, and you want something that's about 3 mil or thicker. So what you see here is $100, and I'm counting the buckets, the lids, the bags, the oxygen absorbers, the rice and the beans. Now, I want to point out also that each serving of beans, you're going to get, and this is why I favor beans a little bit more. Number one, I like the flavor better. But the reason I favor beans more is because you at least get a minuscule amount of fat, which is the hardest thing to find in a survival situation, despite what anybody else tells you out there. Now, rice, there's no fat really to speak of, nothing that's even worth mentioning. But you have a little bit of protein, but you get at least a little bit more protein in beans. So what we're going to wind up with, you could mix it. I mean, let's just say you're cool with rice. Go with it. In a previous video, you saw me talk about fat in the form of, now I would prefer some shelf-stable animal fat like lard. But if you're opposed to that, there are things you can get out there like coconut oil. It'll last quite a while too. So with that said, I'm going to show you what happens next. I'm going to take this Mylar bag. It's really this simple. I'm going to take this 5-gallon Mylar bag. We're just going to stick it in the bucket. It depends on how long you want to store it. Now, there's always little tiny bugs in everything you get. Yeah, I know I freaked out some of you there, but there's always going to be little bugs inside your beans and your rice. So if you can, freeze them for about 3 days. You can even go up, take it to a week if you want to. Let it thaw out, then do what I'm about to do here. So, having done this before, I know full well that it's going to take 2.5 bags to fill up this 5-gallon bucket. So we'll just go ahead and start right there. Now, things like rice and flour, you need about 1,000 cc oxygen absorber. Things like beans, you're going to need at least 2,000. And the reason for that is you have a greater airspace between the beans than you do the rice or things like flour. So keep that in mind. And there's online sources also where you can find out how many oxygen absorbers you need. None of the things just jump out at me right now. Like I said, I've done it so many times, I know what I need. So, put another one in there. Shake it down. And we're going to put about half of this in there. But you can do this stuff, and I prefer, instead of buying 1,000, you can do that, buy a bunch of 1,000 cc oxygen absorbers. I tend to want to get the 500 cc. The reason why I got more options, if I use gallon bags for anything, I also have it for that. Now, if you're doing multiple buckets, don't put your oxygen absorber first. Always have a glass mason jar that you can take the ones you don't use to put them in there. So with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and put the other 2.5 bags into another Mylar bag in a 5-gallon bucket. Do the same with the rice, and then I'll show you how we seal it all up. All right, so here's where we get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, roughly in each one of these buckets, let's say it's a 25-pound bag in 2 of these, and you have basically 2.5 bags of beans bought in this form. Now, like I said, I can't reiterate the point enough that this is the most inefficient way to buy things. You're better to go to a co-op and a place where you can buy things in 50-pound bags. In fact, had I done that with the rice, it would have been a considerable cost break. So this is important to pay attention to. When you get down to your oxygen absorbers, it is of profound importance that once you get these bad boys opened up, first of all, you want to make sure the little pink little thing they have inside there that tells you whether or not they're good, make sure it's the right color. Now these are 500s, and remember with the beans we want 2,000. Okay, now in this particular, as soon as you get these, if you have any left over, you want to put them in a mason jar, smallest jar you can find, and you'll see just how well they work because they will take the oxygen out, and that's all they take out. They're not going to take out nitrogen or anything else. And also there are those out there that if you can't find oxygen absorbers, there have been people I know that use dry ice, which is CO2. Stick it in the bottom, let it sit for a while, and it chases out all the oxygen, and then what you're left with is CO2. Not as good as an oxygen absorber, but still pretty darn good. Now, I'm going to drown out the mic when I do this. All I'm going to do with these Mylar bags, all it takes is an iron. Some people use one of those hair curler things that straighten out women's hair. I don't know what you call them. But anyway, you can use that and clamp it on here and go across. That's probably a pretty cool way. I've never done it that way. I just use a regular iron, because Lord knows it ain't going to be for my clothes. And I'm going to fold it over this block of wood, this 2x4 I have here. And I'm not going to go across the whole thing. I'm only going to go about, and it doesn't take long, just, it sticks. I mean, really that quick. And this thing's ready to rock and roll. I'm not going to go all the way to the very end. So what I'm going to do, I got a little gap in here I didn't yet do. I want to chase out and evacuate all of that air before I finish it up. So I'm going to push it down, try to get out as much air as I can, fold this down in there. Now, everything, there's as much air out of this as I can ever hope to get out. Now, with that little corner that I didn't yet do, I'm going to take it, just like this, squeeze out as much air as I possibly can. And with the last little bit, bam, folks, that's a wrap. Just like that. Now, I know I made that look easy because I've done this more times than I can count over the years. And then just like that, oxygen absorber will do its thing. Okay, so with that done, I'll go ahead and get these other ones done. All right, so here we are. This is $100 worth of stuff. And in fact, you got a bunch of, you got what, 6 Mylar bags left over that you wouldn't have to buy next time. So I did the math on this. And folks, it's pretty astonishing when you stop to think that for $100 at 2,000 calories a day, one person could survive if they ate nothing else but what's in these buckets. And obviously you're going to need water to make it all come together. If one person ate what was in this bucket, you would survive 74.3 days. Okay, that's, I mean, 0.3. And that's actually conservative because there's considerably more in here than what I'm letting on. Folks, what I'm trying to get at is you can spend, there are so many people out there trying to sell you freeze-dried food and all these expensive meal packs and stuff like that. Yeah, you can buy them, but most of us have more time than money. So if you're in that position where you do have, in fact, more time than money, then this is the most economical way to prepare. Now, do you want to eat beans and rice all day? Okay, not too many of us do. In fact, there was a lady, when I taught this before, had opposition saying, well, I don't think I could get my kids to eat beans and rice. Okay, if you find yourself in a position of where all you have is beans and rice and your kids still refuse to eat it, I don't know what to tell you. But look, folks, if you want to prepare, and this, remember, this video sticks out for those people especially that have limited means. If you want to prepare, I just showed you the easiest way to go about it. So give it a shot, and all the other homesteaders or preppers out there, if you have other methods that maybe you want to list in the comments down below, by all means do it. This is the most basic way. So until next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion, because it is. We'll see you next time.